Hey guys, welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys joining me for today's episode. And guys, today we're going to give you guys a tutorial and sort of a guide on choosing the right fluke color. Flukes are one of the most effective bass catchers of all time. They come in a lot of different colors, and the thing about flukes, aside from the action that really triggers the strike, the second thing behind them is the color, because a fluke is a sight-oriented lure. It's basically designed for a little bit cleaner water most of the time, not all the time. And choosing the right color of fluke in correlation with all the different variables is really critical to success. So I'm going to go over, guys, my favorite colors of fluke, and I'm going to show you guys and explain to you the conditions I like to fish each different color in. I think it's going to add up to some quality fish for you guys. Started two quick things I'd like to share with you. Solar Bat has still got the January sale going on my Signature Series glasses. You can get them at 30% off this month, guys, if you're interested. I'll have the Solar Bat link in the description of my video. You can also get them through my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video. This is the RB2 frames here. And guys, real quick, one of the top lures for this time of year is a finesse jig. Got my Blaukat Power Finesse jig here from Cumberland Pro Lures, living rubber, hand-tied frog hair skirt, one of the only jigs available with this type of setup here. I'll have the Blaukat Throwback Power Finesse jig link in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video if you guys would like to get a couple of those, so appreciate it. Okay, there's two categories of lures that get a ton of videos in YouTube, and that's a chatterbait and a fluke. And a couple of different reasons. Number one, they catch a lot of bass, they're fun to fish, people are fascinated with them. And a fluke, if you've never fished one, most guys that are watching the channel has, a fluke looks awesome in the water when it's rigged and worked correctly. It just goes crazy through the water. It looks like something alive in the water. So I think there's an element of the fact that it looks good to the fishermen, the bass like it. It's just a really popular lure. But like I said, we'll do another video on that as far as the rigging and how you want to work a fluke, but I want to talk about colors today. Now, I've got about probably 8 or 10 of my favorite colors here, and I want to go over each one of them, sort of explain to you guys when I like them and the conditions I like to fish them in. And some of these colors are crossovers because some of them will sort of work in the same conditions, but you know, a lot of it, like anything else, is you just have to experiment to see which one they like. Okay, the first one we're talking about is a watermelon seed. This is probably one a lot of people don't use. This is the watermelon seed fluke. Guys, a watermelon seed fluke is a really good bait in a couple different conditions. Number one, it works really good in clear water. Like if you got water visibility over 4 or 5 foot, a watermelon fluke is a good bait for that. Another time that a watermelon fluke catches a lot of bass is around any type of aquatic vegetation, especially if the aquatic vegetation has some type of a tannic acid look to it. So that's why, like, a watermelon is a really good choice in Florida in that black tannic looking water. So if you have a lake that has lily pads or hydrilla or milfoil, the watermelon's really good. And another thing about a watermelon fluke, guys, and my buddy Brent Chaplin, clued me in on this many decades ago, is a watermelon fluke is a good flipping bait. So not only you can rig it on a weedless head, but you can flip it on a Texas rig, catch a lot of fish on the watermelon there. Okay, the next one is a bubblegum fluke. Bubblegum fluke's got a couple of different scenarios that works good. It's a paradox because a bubblegum fluke will work in either really, really clear water or off-colored water. I don't like a bubblegum sort of in that in-between water. If I've got water visibility of over 4 or 5 foot clarity, under the conditions I'm getting ready to tell you about, a bubblegum can be really good. And also a bubblegum's good if you got that water visibility that most people consider is too dirty for a fluke, like water visibility of under 2 feet. A bubblegum is a really bright color. It glows and shows up. So real clear water or real dirty water. Now, the time that I use a bubblegum fluke in clear water is you got to have a couple of different things. Number one, you got to have clear water and you got to have overcast sky, and it's got to be in the fall time of the year, the spring time of the year. So let's say, for example, the water temperature is 60 degrees, it's a cloudy, rainy day, you got really clear water, bubblegum fluke can be a really good bait. And if you're fishing, say, in the summertime, like the water temperature is 80 degrees, and you've got some lay down trees and the water visibility is like a foot or something like that, sunny, bright sunny day, bubblegum fluke can work good in that. Now, another color that's very similar to that I just described to you is the pearl or the white. The pearl or the white is sort of the same as the bubblegum in terms that it works in those paradoxic ranges there. But a pearl is one of the most popular Fluke colors out there because it works good in a lot of different conditions. But personally, the time that I use a pearl colored Fluke or a white Fluke is in that more off colored water. These are my two off colored water colors, the pearl and the bubblegum here. They work, like I said, if I'm fishing a situation where water visibility is under 2 feet, and especially if I'm throwing the Fluke around some type of cover. So let's say I got a row of lay down trees, or I got a row of lily pads, or I got a row of whatever in the water. The water visibility is about like that. The pearl or the bubblegum is going to be really good because the fish like to really attack these things away from ambush points. You know, the bass is laying in a lay down tree, you work a pearl colored Fluke, off colored water, they'll come up and get it. The first time I saw how effective a pearl was, I was fishing at Lake Dardanelle, guys, down in Arkansas. It was a Toyota, I think it was a Toyota Series tournament, and I was catching my fish on a square bill crankbait, fishing it around lay down trees, and the water was dirty. The water visibility was only like 12 inches, and all of a sudden my partner hooks up with like a 5-pounder out of the back of the boat, and he gets it in the boat, and I said, "What'd you get that on?" And he goes, "Fluke." And he showed me the white Fluke, and he caught like 2 or 3 more good ones on the white Fluke in that dirty water around the laydowns on the pearl or white. So that's the situation for that. Okay, the next two are another 2 popular ones, guys. These are both the Albino and the Arkansas Shiner. That's what these 2 colors are. These are 2 of the most common Fluke colors. And also, guys, I'll put my Fluke link, I'll have my Fluke link and my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video if you guys would like to use my link to get some of these Flukes. That's a good way to help the channel out and get you some baits. But if I could give you guys 2 Fluke colors that are the most consistent fish catching colors there are, it would be these 2, the Albino and the Arkansas Shiner here. These are really, really good baits in a diversity of different water clarities. They don't work real good in off-colored water, but if you have any type of water visibility of over about 3 feet, which most lakes do, these are going to be your 2 primary really good colors. Depending upon the one here, guys, depending upon, you know, the conditions, whether it be the sunny, partly cloudy, or whatever, you may have to rotate between the 2. But let me get my marker out here. I'm going to show you a little trick on the Arkansas Shiner and the albino color that's going to help you guys catch some more fish on it. This is really critical on these 2 colors. I usually do this modification, you know, nearly all the time when I'm fishing this. Okay, take your Arkansas Shiner or your albino here, and you can see you've got 2 different colors that come up there. Take a chartreuse pin and draw along that, right along the edge of this thing, along the edge of the line there, and then take your tail and put a little color on the tail. You don't want to put a whole lot, but just a little bit. And what that does, look at the way it makes it look there with the little chartreuse on it. You've got the little chartreuse on the tail with it. Now here's the other side to show you the difference with it. But I usually put this chartreuse on it, and based upon if it's a cloudy day or a clear day, or, you know, if the water visibility is 3 feet versus 6 feet, sometimes, you know, making that little color modification on there really has a lot to do. So you definitely want to get you some albinos and Arkansas Shiners. Okay, the other 3 that I have, the next one is this. It's sort of like a pearl with some flake in it. It's like it's very similar to like the solid pearl, but it's got it's got a clear back and it's got some flake on it. Now, this is another really good bait in off-colored or dirtier water. So let's say, for example, if I can catch them on a pearl-colored Fluke, if the water visibility is like 12 to 15 inches, if the water visibility is still stained, like it's say 1.5 to 2.5 foot, this little, you know, this one here with the clear back on it and the little sparkles in it can be really good. This looks really good in the water. This is one of my favorite colors in a lot of different situations, also on a cloudy day. And the other 2 are going to be, this is going to be the baby bass, and this is going to be the cotton candy. Baby bass and cotton candy are other 2 that you want to have. The cotton candy is another really good off-colored watercolor because it's sort of like a milky looking color that glows. And like the other ones, I will take on the cotton candy and put a little bit of color on it. It really sort of sets it off a little bit. You see, just put a little bit of chartreuse on that, makes it nice. But the cotton candy, it works good in off-colored water, especially if you got a little bit brighter sunlight conditions, because even though it glows a little bit, it's not quite as, it doesn't stand out as much as like the pearl. It's a little bit more subtle, yet it stands out. And then finally, guys, the baby bass. The baby bass is probably one of my favorite colors. If you gave me 3 colors of flukes and say, Randy, these are the only 3 colors of flukes that you can have, I would probably take a baby bass color. I'd probably take something like this, you know, pearl looking sparkly one like that. And then I definitely take, you know, some type of the Arkansas Shiner or the Albino. But this baby bass, guys, I have caught a ton of fish on a baby bass on a Carolina rig. This is a great Carolina rig bait color for whatever reason. Baby bass also is really good in super clear water. So if you have water visibility over 4 or 5 foot, you know, baby bass can be a good color. But ultimately, one of the things that you have to realize about fluke color, like any other color, is you just have to experiment, because I can give you some situational advice like I just did as far as the water clarities and skylight conditions, but you just have to try them all. So here's the good rule of thumb. If you are catching a few fish on a fluke and you know they're biting a fluke and they're in that mood and personality to chase a fluke, experiment with some colors. Get you 7 or 8 different colors. And if you're catching a few fish, say on whatever, you know, if you're catching a few fish on the baby bass, just try 2 or 3 other colors. And sometimes you can really dial in the best color that they want on that particular day. So anyway, guys, hope it helps you out. We'll check in later.